What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Burning Hammer podcast. I am Mark Izzo. He is Dylan O'Brien, and we are your hosts. And we are coming off of the heels of Saturday night's main event. And then we are obviously looking straight forward to Monday Night Raw on Netflix. And then we have another Saturday night's main event. And then we have obviously the Royal Rumble. But starting January 6th, that is the official beginning to the road to WrestleMania. So there's going to be a ton of stuff that is going to be going down. But before we get into all of that, you're going to want to shop our merch. You know, if you got that special somebody in your life and they're not quite giving you the attention that you think you deserve, well, if you buy our merch, you'll get that attention. They'll say, wow, you look really cool in that t-shirt, or wow, that hat really suits you well. So definitely go out, buy our merch, link in the description, or you can head over to tpublic.com, and then we have a ton of different designs up on there. Everything is reasonably priced, and if you want to watch our stuff ad-free, you can sign up for the Patreon. It's $1 a month, and you get ad-free and early content as well. So, like I said, we're coming off Saturday night's main event, and I guess it wasn't technically a premium live event, but it was about as close to one as you could get without it technically being one. TV special on NBC and on Peacock. Dylan, what'd you think about this show overall?
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you. Good to be back here for another live stream. As I was staring at my phone for those first couple minutes, I was sending out some tweets to
He's a businessman.
try to let the people know that we are live and they can tune in and join us if they'd like to get in on the conversation that we're going to be having tonight, which is going to be Raw on Netflix and a little bit of main event, which is what we're going to start with. Like you said, Mark, overall, I thought Saturday night main event was a really enjoyable show. Overall, a few people. There's always going to be people complaining online, but overall, I would say I do think when you take that into consideration, there's going to be negative reactions for everything. I do think overall, it seemed the perception was relatively good in that people did enjoy Saturday night's main event. I know I did. I thought, just for starters, the match quality was terrific. You could probably every single match really went. I wish they gave Drew and Sammy a little bit more time. That was the one that felt like it definitely lacked a little bit there, but it does, the only good thing about that, I'll say, is that time is usually taken away from the women's division. And being that it wasn't taken away, we got an incredible match between Chelsea Green and Michin Tagrown, the first ever United States Women's Champion. And, of course, that was Chelsea Green. I was going to try to do the voice, but I'm not even going to give it a shot.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. So, but I'll give it a shot. Chelsea Green. But yeah, she's your women's U.S. champion, your inaugural women's United States champion. Huge pop for Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Gotta say right off the bat, gotta recognize her gear. With her face printed all over it. Incredible. Just why haven't people done that yet? I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do that. It seems like it seems like it could be an easy heel move to throw in there, but I'm glad that it was Chelsea Green. And I gotta say, that match was very, very good. I didn't think they were actually gonna pull the trigger and put it on Chelsea. I'm so happy that they did, though. Yeah, zero complaints. So happy that they did. And that finish was beautiful. The way she set up that Unprettier off the top ropes
Smooth.
And then, of course, Unprettier, such a great finish for her. We're huge Christian and Christian Cage fans over here. And then, of course, giving that move its original name with the unprettier and letting Chelsea use it is a great finish for her and for her character and for her gimmick. So that was the first thing right off the bat, that I felt like we had to get into was this inaugural Women's U.S. Championship, which was handed to Chelsea Green. We had a really great triple threat match between Damien, Finn, and Gunther for the world title. That did go pretty much how we expected it to go as far as the finish was concerned, which was that Damien and Finn got a little bit too caught up with one another, which allowed Gunther to come out on top. And then, of course, you had the match that kicked off the night, and that was Liv versus no, was it?
No, Drew versus Sammy kicked
Drew
off.
versus Sammy kicked off. I do wish it had, like I said before, I wish it had a little bit more time there. But I do think it was the right finish. Like we said, Drew got the win there. And then
A little abrupt of a finish.
Yeah. Yeah,
Didn't
for
feel
sure.
like the ending of the match, if that makes sense. Like, because you can feel it when you're watching a match and you're like, all right, it feels like this is about to be done. That one felt like we were kind of in the middle of it tempo-wise, and then Drew just ended up winning.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It was weird.
It was one of those ones where after it's done, you were just like, damn, I guess that's it.
Yeah, very much so.
You know?
But I do think that this is not the end of this little feud. Whether they'll give them one more, maybe Raw on Netflix, or maybe they'll just do it on a Raw. It seems like we'll at least get one more match. I would say probably not on a PLE, but probably one more match because Sammy did attack Drew on Raw this past week. And then we had Liv versus Io for the Women's World Championship, which was a solid match. Io is such a star. It's just pretty. Come out and stare face to face with Liv Morgan to set up that future match. So fingers crossed that all roads are leading to Rhea versus Io at WrestleMania, which I do have some faith that seems to be where we're headed. And I do think Io beating Rhea at Mania would cement her into Rhea's status, kind of. I not it's not that just beating Rhea gets you there. It would be Io obviously has the total package. So I think the last thing that she really needs to do is like beat a huge star on a really big stage. Which would, of course, she won the title by cashing in the Money in the Bank, and now I think the next move is getting her a big title win. That's not through cash-in. That's just the clean, straight-up title victory. So that is going to be hopefully something to look forward to, and fingers crossed that's where we're headed. And then, of course, we had the main event, which was Cody Rhodes coming out with the Winged Eagle, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
The Winged Eagle. A lot of talk. Was it going to be a new version of the Winged Eagle? Was it going to be the old version of the Winged Eagle? It was the straight-up classic Winged Eagle, and I think that was the right call. Like we were saying before, going with a new version of the Winged Eagle and saying for one night only, that would be a very dangerous game to play. So
Diabolical.
with it being just the classic Winged Eagle, it makes a lot more, I don't know, doesn't sting as much that they're gonna take it away after one night. Still stings because,
well, it's not quite away just yet.
yeah, it's not quite away because in this result of this match, we got Cody coming out on top, right? Cody got the victory here. And let's say this, Mark, I know you let me actually, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to let you talk about the finish to this match here because I knew you had some thoughts on it.
Yeah, so one of my bigger pet peeves in wrestling is when a babyface will use a heel tactic to win. Um, I don't care the scenario. I don't care what it is. I don't care if the heel tried it first and then it's kind of like, oh, you're taking a sip of your own medicine for the heel. Should never do it. Um, and I understand the thought process behind it, and I think it can add to the story to where Kevin's like, you cheated, you hit me with a chair, I should have never lost, which is probably the direction they're going to go. I just think it's a bad look for your pure white meat, top of the company, number one babyface to win via crossroads onto a steel chair. Heel tactic to lose, or heel tactic to win, costing Kevin Owens the match. So I didn't love that. But again, we'll see how it kind of plays throughout the story. I am a little confused about where we're going to go with this story now, considering what happened after the match. If you want to get into what happened once the camera cut, at least for live television.
Yeah. So, as far as live TV was concerned, like you said, the camera cut, show's over. But the people in the audience got to see Kevin Owens hit our man Cody Rhodes. Kevin Owens also our man. You know, we're boys with all those guys.
Yeah.
But he hit him with a package pile driver, Mark.
Yep.
And then left with the winged eagle draped over his shoulder. So I believe that's where you were going with saying it's not gone quite yet as KO, which is pretty cool to think about, considering KO did have that photo shoot years back when he won the Universal title. He had that photo shoot with the winged eagle title. So now he's carrying it around. And fingers crossed that he just carries that around for a while.
He probably will.
I really
at least
hope so.
Until Cody beats him again.
Yeah, you would hope for at least the rest of the Cody feud,
and who
right?
knows when that's going to be now.
Yeah, that could be Rumble,
Yeah. And
so,
I will say this too. I'm usually not a big fan of wrestlers stealing titles and claiming to be champions and whatnot. Like I never really loved the idea of it, but I think it works the best it possibly can with KO doing it, especially after kind of like what happened following the show. So I am okay with it for this, especially it being the winged eagle. I think there's kind of different stuff they could work in with that as well.
Yeah, I think a huge thing that's going to get played into it, which if it's not, I would be shocked, would be that KO essentially holds up the winged eagle and is like, this isn't even real. They gave this back to you for a night like it was a real thing. It's not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he'll incorporate it into his reasoning behind Cody being the golden boy and, you know what I mean, getting special treatment and whatnot. So I think he could really play into that through carrying the winged eagle, being like, whatever Cody wants, he gets, sort of thing. Well, guess what? Now it's mine. Like, sort of, you know what I mean? I don't care if I didn't win it. You didn't win it either. Like, I think you know what I mean? Like, KO is the type to straight up say that. And I hope he does. That'll be very cool. One direction I wanted to bring up, which would be really interesting, and I think I'm just set on KO leaving this feud with the title, which probably isn't happening, but like my mind just keeps thinking to like, how can we get back? How does KO take the title off Cody? And I do think, like I said, I think it's more than likely not happening. But I do think that Cody winning through heel tactics, like you said, via chair, could work into the benefit of Kevin taking that title off of him. because then if you have Kevin really go hard into essentially making Cody question himself, and being like, you couldn't even beat me. Whatever, say what you want. Say I brought that chair in. You decided to use it. You know what I mean? You decided
Yeah.
to use it because you knew you weren't going to beat me without it. Say what you like. And then that puts Cody in a situation to where he's overthinking about all that type of stuff. So now you have Kevin getting chairs involved, but now Cody is extra worried about essentially just getting the chair out of the ring. You know what I mean? He wants to, and then I think you can have it be Cody gets so hung up on winning clean now. And he's like so worried about like, no, I need to make sure it's known that I'm winning clean and I don't need to cheat to win. And I think that can eventually lead to his downfall where he loses the title. Do I think it's likely? No. I do think that Cody, retains probably. It's the most likely. Biggest reason being, I kind of think that if they were going to put it on KO, they would have done it right there.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't know. Where's your head at? Do you think KO is more likely or less likely to take the title off of Cody after that?
Probably more likely.
You think so?
Yeah. I thought that there was less of a chance of him winning with the Winged Eagle. I just thought there was no shot that they're going to have Cody wear the Winged Eagle for one night and then have him lose it. So, and then that could present different options into different storylines where if KO did win, he won the Winged Eagle, he didn't win the WWE Championship. So there's kind of different like technicalities that they can kind of go about with this, but I think that his chances have gone up after this, right? Because he's going to get more world title opportunities now, especially with the way the story is going. So I think that merging of the belts at some point, KO holds the Winged Eagle, kind of that way Triple H gives the people what they want in having the Winged Eagle title, where it's not really like a sanctioned title because Cody's really your champion and he has the actual belt. So you kind of give the people what they want with the Winged Eagle, and then Cody will kind of come back, and KO will obviously, I think, very easily discard the Winged Eagle championship when it's time for him to go after the WWE championship. Like we had someone say last week, classic throw the Winged Eagle in the trash potentially down the line, but I think like he has a better shot of winning the WWE championship right now. I have no idea if that's going to happen or how likely like the chances are, because it's tough. Like after Raw on Netflix, we'll kind of get a better understanding of certain things with wrestlers coming and going and staying on certain shows, and everything's going to kind of shuffle around, especially because that's also the start to the road to WrestleMania. So once that happens, we'll kind of have a more clear idea of kind of if KO will win the World Championship. As a man who KO is his favorite wrestler of all time, and me, obviously I would love for KO to get another world title run. He obviously hasn't had one in a very, very long time somehow. So yeah, I could definitely see it happening this year. Whether he takes it off Cody or he potentially takes it off the person who takes it off Cody, I'm not quite sure yet. Because I still do think there's a good chance that Randy takes it off of Cody. Especially now, I think there's an interesting story they could tell with this, because I think, so I was more questioning what they're going to do with this story now. Because as it stands right now, at time of recording this, all parties involved are at the hospital besides Kevin Owens. Right? And maybe Sami Zayn's there, but he's not really involved in this right now. So you just have KO. What you're gonna keep this feud going? Maybe Randy will probably come back at some point. I'd assume before Cody, but like Cody's got to be shelved at least a month, right? After taking a package pile driver, Randy feels like he's been gone for a while. Like you can't have Cody come back really soon.
I think I think Randy coming back and filling in the feud while Cody's out now is probably a good bet.
Yeah. And then who knows? Maybe Randy turns on Cody with Cody's next match against KO. Or maybe it's not even a match, but maybe that's kind of how you get more towards Cody versus Randy if Randy is ever going to turn. I think Randy should turn at this point.
That's
I
what
think
it really
a
feels
Cody
like.
and
That's
Randy
the direction
feud
we're
would be
going.
awesome. Yeah. So like, what do you think this feud? What are they going to kind of do with it now with Cody, Randy, KO? Like, how do you think they're going to go about this?
So it really depends what you want your title match to be. Because in my opinion, they have two options, which is Cody defending against Randy at WrestleMania, or Kevin defending against Sammy.
Mm.
And it's either Randy comes back and probably costs Cody, and then KO goes on, whatever, of course, you go to Sammy. And then that's how we get to heel Randy versus Cody. Or you can have Randy help Cody win and then do the heel turn afterwards, whether it be that night or in the weeks following. And then that's your title match, and then you just move to KO and Sammy. Those two I'm almost positive that those are the two matches happening now at this point.
I agree.
Like, so I will say I do feel pretty good. We'll see. But I do feel pretty good that if The Rock is involved in Mania, it'll be Rock and Roman one-on-one.
Okay.
I
Good.
hope.
I'm happy you're starting to lean towards that now.
And let it be known it was never. I never wanted the triple threat. Let it be very, very known. I've never ever wanted the Cody Rock Roman triple threat. I just said I thought there's a good chance that it does happen, and I still think there is a good chance that it does happen. But
okay.
I'm like, as time goes on, I go more and more to Rock Roman one-on-one. If The Rock's involved, I think The Rock might just not be in this Mania.
Who knows? I mean, there's been a lot of reports out there that he's not getting involved, that he will get involved if he feels like it. Now he's busy. 1 second he's not. He's gonna be there. Who knows?
So if The Rock isn't at WrestleMania, what does Roman do? Because every plan up till this point has involved The Rock in our head, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and it can't be Roman solo.
Yeah.
You're not carrying that for another 5 months.
I dare say, as much as this is going to sting, I mean, Brock, I feel like is always a contender, as much as I don't think they probably will. Hopefully they won't.
Maybe Cena.
Cena could be
They
fun.
could do
Yeah, but then...
Yeah, they could do Cena.
Do you keep Roman as is, or would you kind of turn him back to full heel?
No, I think you keep him as is.
Okay.
I think it's a full-on respect sort of thing. I'll tell you what. Call me crazy, if The Rock isn't involved, I don't think Cody Roman 3 is out of the picture at all either.
Oh yeah, yeah. If it's not The Rock, then it's probably Cody.
Right?
Yeah,
Cody Roman 3.
yeah.
But I will say though, it doesn't feel like that's the story this year.
I mean, well,
Let me
the
tell
story
you,
is very obviously Rock and Roman.
that's
like,
what
if
I
that's
mean. Like it feels like Cody and Roman are done for now.
Yeah, I think
If it
that would
like
be
3 years in a
something.
row at WrestleMania saying main event is tough.
I think that'd be awesome. Bad tough or good tough?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Like it's tough. It's cool. It's cool as hell to say that they did that. But then it's like, all right, this is now the 3rd time in a row we're doing this. What's different this time?
Well, I think there's a few different things that they could do. I think
So
storyline wise,
you need to top last one though. Like you can't do Rock Roman the year at. Like I'm not saying the 3rd one has to top the 2nd one, but if you do it this year at WrestleMania, it does. You know what I mean? Like you can't have the same main event 2 years in a row, and then you can't have the same main event 3 years in a row, and then have the 3rd one be like, that was the one we remember the least.
yeah, but I think you can do it in a way to where it's better for different reasons. Right? Because
How
like
so?
last year, like you could like never like you may never top last year's WrestleMania main event or
Yeah,
this year's.
so that's
like
why
ever.
that's why I think they shouldn't fuck with it.
Yeah, but
That's why they shouldn't do
and
Roman Cody again.
I know that like you've said last week, you can't do every match at WrestleMania, but like Cody Roman's a WrestleMania match. Like it has to happen at WrestleMania the 3rd time. And I
No,
don't
it
hate the
doesn't.
idea of yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Okay. I think it
Maybe
does.
not this year, at least.
I think that's crazy.
What's gonna drag? What gets you back interested in that? In a Cody Roman 1-on-1 again?
Cody's champion for starters.
Okay, what? Like I don't.
Roman has grown as a person. He's now this kind of different version of the tribal chief. He isn't necessarily always relying on his bloodline to interfere with matches. He's starting to do more things on his own. He never got his rematch. You have all of this stuff with potentially the elders. You can kind of lean into if Paul's going to turn on him. We have that favor with Punk. Like, I think like both men are drastically different from where they were or where they will be from the year prior, which was this past year.
And I get what you're saying. To me, that all just sounds like a recipe for Cody to get booed out of the building, like, which is not what they want at all.
It's true. It is true.
So I'm like, I think that's a big part of it for me. Maybe that I probably should have made clear that I didn't like realize. I was like, was before it was like. Part of the reason that made it was like last year was so like everyone was so behind Cody.
Yeah.
Like we felt like that was our story too. Like what's our story? Like
it was our story.
But what is our? And it's like in this year is like. I just don't. And it's more. The fact that we've just gotten so invested in other directions. You know what I mean? And it's also like, I don't know if it's like, yeah, you do Cody Roman 3 right now, then all right, then I guess Cody Randy's never happening at WrestleMania probably. Like, you know what I mean?
You don't
like
think
that
it could happen the next year?
I think it can, but like this is, I think
Yeah,
I think Roman Cody 3 at a year later is better.
Okay.
No title.
Oh.
No title at all. Like they're just like at this point it's just like two distinguished vets.
But would Roman
Maybe
get
Roman.
his
I don't
rematch
know.
at all?
I just. What'd you
He
say?
still needs his Roman still needs his rematch against Cody. It's in the clause of a champion, Dylan.
No, yeah. Trust me, I get that. Are we sure?
I don't know.
I think
They
some of
don't
them do and
always
some of them don't.
necessarily don't.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the person.
I think
I
it's
think
a case by
DIY
case.
would have a thing to say about that.
Yeah, I think it's a case by case basis.
They love to say it when they do it, but they don't
Yeah.
always do it.
I don't know. I think just. I mean, I'm totally with you. I'm more just like I think we would. Doesn't it feel? It feels like Trips plants the seeds like very long. Like it feels like we would have a lot more hints that that's where we are going. Again, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think we're like for sure. I think that it's also tough now because you have the tribal combat match, which this will kind of be a good segue for us to pivot to Raw is Netflix, which I've just decided I'm going to start to call it that because I don't know what else to call it. But you have just recently announced Friday Night SmackDown last week for the Ula Fala, or the Ufalafa, as LA Knight would say.
Yeah.
That match is going down. Tribal Combat, Roman vs. Solo at Raw's Netflix. So I think after that, the 2 or 3 weeks following that, more like the story will get cleared up a little bit.
You know what? Now that I think about it, and I'm not sure how you feel about it or people feel about it. If The Rock is not involved at WrestleMania at all, I don't think Roman versus Drew 1-on-1, no title, is out of the picture at all. I think it's very possible. Roman versus Drew McIntyre. Because you have Drew on this kick again of like taking out people in the bloodline.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
Jimmy and or not Jimmy, Jay and oh, he did take out Jimmy. He took out them all. Whatever. And Sammy and all that. Yeah. So I say that to be like the seed can definitely be planted now of Roman can try to do whatever he wants to do, and Drew McIntyre may not give him a choice. You know what I mean? Drew McIntyre may this new version of Drew McIntyre, I think I could really get behind a feud of this new version of Drew McIntyre essentially just torturing Roman Reigns and not leaving him alone until he gets until he gets paid attention to the way he wants to by Roman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's completely out of the question. That just popped into my head, so I wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. It is a big question mark of what would Roman do, because obviously there's like a ton of different things they can do. You would just kind of need time to do it. So it can't be like it's March or February and we don't know the direction that Roman's going in for his WrestleMania match. Like, we need to know by then. And I will say also, I wanted to real quick pivot back to Saturday night's main event because I meant to bring this up also. But I think one of my biggest takeaways from the show was how much I missed like a pure heel commentator, Dylan.
Oh my god, dude.
It was great.
The body,
Jesse,
man.
The body.
Having the body on that call. Man, that was incredible. It was like, dude, he was so good. Like, I don't understand. Like, it was this sort of thing. Like, it was like just watching a master. Hey, how you doing? Happy holidays. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was like watching a master at work. Like, within the first, as soon as he sat down, you were just like, oh yeah, this guy's the best. Like, yeah, this guy's one of the best to ever do it. Like, within the first line, of him just sitting there at the desk. Also, like, hasn't lost a step at all. The guy could
Oh yeah.
call a match.
He could call
Like,
the whole show.
they can bring him back full time if they wanted to. He sounded good. Like, he sounds like full of energy. Like, there's guys calling wrestling matches right now that are much older and worse than the body. So, let's make that very clear. And you are right. Didn't we also get Pat McAfee?
We did.
Yeah, dude. Fuck it. Motherfucker. We had Jesse the Body Ventura back on the call, and motherfucker wanted to talk. Pat McAfee's back! Pat McAfee's back! Like they haven't been watching 6 hours of him every day of the Pat McAfee show for the past 6 months, and then 8 more hours of College Game Day on Saturdays. Jesus Christ. I don't, like... I'm just saying, yeah. I
think Graves got robbed. I think Corey Graves should have been on the call.
Totally.
I don't understand, like, why he
They did
wasn't
McAfee because it was
call.
on network television. Because it was a network TV special. That's why.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Because it was the first main event. Like, NBC might have even asked. They might have even asked for McAfee.
I know. It sucks. I will say...
And it's not even a thing. It's not even a thing where I straight up am just like McAfee's like awful. The McAfee fans are way worse than Pat McAfee himself. I'll say that. Okay. The people who try to sit there and say that Pat McAfee's like this incredible commentator is those people are more annoying than Pat McAfee himself.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and I will say, at least this time, I feel like he did a better job, at least, like, to me, because I started to become more analytical of him, because I want to see more than his, like, him just, like, freaking out about everything and saying these catchphrases, and just being very loud. Like, I want to see if he has any real, like, wrestling knowledge. And I feel like at least 2 or 3 moves he knew the name of, so that's an improvement.
I mean, no, he's a big, like, he's no, like, complete, he's not, like, a complete schmuck when it comes to, like, his knowledge and stuff, you know what I mean? He's obviously, like, really big fan and put a lot of time into it to, you know, learn a lot in the ring and did well in the ring, you know, the times he was in there.
It's great.
And it's not even a thing of, like, where I think he's bad and don't like him and all this stuff. It was like there was just this weird movement that grew behind Pat McAfee as if he was like one of the greatest wrestling commentators to ever happen. And it's like, he's just like, you're just saying that because he's a funny, famous guy. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's all it is. Like, it's, if it was Will Ferrell would have been awesome as a commentator. That doesn't mean he, like, necessarily should. Will Ferrell be... Yeah. But with that being said, I did think I do think he did less of the just like freaking out over annoying stuff. But I thought he did a fine job on Saturday.
Yeah, I just think Graves deserves to be.
No, yeah, that's my thing. Is that I'm just like, Graves is so good. I think that's part of the reason that it like gets me frustrated. So I'm like, Graves is so good.
And I think the thing that gets me frustrated.
No, you go.
I think the thing that gets me frustrated the most is how they just constantly will like shuffle everything around just to get like Pat McAfee on. And like obviously he has other things he's passionate about. He can go and do those, but then it's like, all right, well now we're all shuffling around his schedule to make sure that he can get on the call. Like, I don't think we're missing a ton by him not calling the action. Like, we have so many great commentators in WWE that could sit there and call the action 100 times better. So I think that's one of the things that is frustrating, is they're like treating him as if he's some like wrestling legend commentator, and just like keep shuffling everything around for him and whatever his schedule fits. You know, it's kind of like a little similar to like The Rock, to where they're shuffling things around for his schedule as well. And it's just like, I don't know. There's just people that deserve it more. Like, I think Vic Joseph blows him out of the water in terms of commentary, and should 100% be on the main roster calling action. Like, I think there's like Wade Barrett. I think Wade Barrett's better than Pat McAfee.
Yeah, he is.
Like, I there's just like people are better.
Graves is gonna go, bro. Like, Graves, I don't think people understand how good Graves is.
For real. I mean,
Like,
and
I think some
know.
people do, but like, I think the Graves thing is gonna be like, in like 10 years, like, people are gonna realize how good Corey Graves has been his entire career.
I know. He's
You
so
know what
good.
I mean? He's so good. He's so good.
I
And
think
he's
it's
like,
I think it's a similar thing of, and I don't want to quite like compare him like pound for pound to Michael Cole quite yet, because obviously Michael Cole's legendary status.
Agreed.
But it's a similar thing to where, in like when Michael Cole was starting, you had JR, right? So JR was kind of over. Like, JR was so good, you didn't quite realize how good Michael Cole was until like years down the line. And then JR leaves, Jerry Lawler leaves, JBL leaves, and you're like, wait, we have this guy in Michael Cole who's insane, like one of the best. I think you can easily make the argument that he's the best ever, and no one's really going to argue against you. So I think we're kind of getting a similar thing with that in Corey Graves. And he's also really good because he's a former wrestler, you know, like,
yeah, I mean, that's
like time and time again, former wrestlers turned into these like more office or managerial, or they're out of the business positions. Like, it's obviously magic. And before we sign off,
I feel like Punk probably needs to go on to commentary when he's done.
He probably could. I mean, if it depends if he wants. It's like, I think he could be great. He's obviously a natural on the microphone.
I think he will. I kind of think he will.
I mean,
like, at this point with his relationship with WWE, doesn't it feel like when he's done with WWE, he's gonna be around, like, in some sort of legend status way?
Oh yeah, big time.
That's what I mean. Like, he feels like, to me, it feels like, and I don't know the guy personally, like I said, to me, it feels like Punk is kind of like, trying to just like make up for the time that he was away from the business, and just like give back to like the younger talent and like stuff. And he's essentially just like, I think now that he's back around it and enjoying it and stuff, he's probably just like wanting to make up for lost time. So I don't know. That's what it seems like, in my opinion. He just seems very happy to be there and seems like he wants to help. Like,
oh yeah,
just like when you see him working with people in NXT and stuff like that. Like, it seems like, and you've heard a lot of the talent say that he has, like, you know, taught people a lot there since coming back. So I mean, the before we go, I think the one thing I did want to check in with on Netflix for the first Raw on Netflix was, so we have a few matches set up, right? We have Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, and we have Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns for the Ula Fala
Tribal Combat.
Tribal Combat? Do we have anything else confirmed?
Oh yeah, Dylan. Raw kickoff today. We have also, I don't know if you saw, Logan Paul is back. He is signed to the Raw brand. And
I
he's
saw that he
coming
was
after
going to be.
he's coming after Gunther's title.
You're fucking me.
I don't know when that is, but it was very clear. He said, "I want to win the world championship." And then they asked Gunther about it. Hopefully, further down the line, Gunther beats the piss out of him, but that is a thing that happens. And then
Further down, I'd rather just get it over with next week. I'd rather get it over. I'd honestly, it might be on Raw and Netflix. That would make
it
sense.
could.
I mean, if that was at the Raw Netflix kickoff thing, it would make a lot of sense, and like it would make a lot of sense for them to be asking for them wanting Logan to have a title match.
Yeah, I mean, and then we got
no worries
Liv,
there. We'll just have Logan get the piss beat out of him,
and then we got Liv versus Rhea made official.
Made official. Oh, I did see that. Yes, made official. Liv versus Rhea.
I mean, and I think the women's IC title match is also
is it going to be there? Awesome.
I saw on the I don't know if they announced it on this past episode of Monday Night Raw or the pre-recorded one that's coming out on Monday, but on the cage match thing on the card for Raw's Netflix, it does say women's IC title match. So I guess they're going to announce that this coming Monday. But yeah, I mean, dude, this is essentially a WrestleMania card.
This is a crazy card.
And I don't even think we're done yet. I think we'll probably get probably Gunther's match. Gunther's going to wrestle, so whatever his match is. I'd assume they're going to announce every match.
Yeah, it feels like him versus Logan now after you said that, which I'm all on board with just getting that done as soon as possible. Just getting that out of the way. Please just
I'll say this. I'll get into this next week because we'll talk more about Raw's Netflix. But I've decided Logan Paul is not a very good wrestler.
Okay.
So we'll leave you on that note. We'll get into that along with Raw is Netflix on next week's episode.
Hopefully we'll be able to do predictions, honestly.
Yeah, so. I mean, we'll definitely do predictions. And because it's going to be insane.
Hopefully hopefully we'll have the whole card by then.
Yeah, we'll probably treat it as if it's a PLE because it pretty much is.
Most definitely.
I'm more interested to see how long it's going to be. I have to guess it's going to be over 2 hours. But we'll obviously
you would have to guess for at least the first one, right? Because they don't have a limit. That's the thing. Like they can make it limit.
And like that's the thing. No commercials.
Like they can make it. Like 1 week it can be 2 hours, and 1 week it can be like they can be like special 3-hour edition Raw tonight. Like they now have the ability to do that with full freedom.
Yeah,
which is really gonna be cool. So maybe we'll even see instances where it's gonna be kind of like you know how like AEW does like special episodes of like Dynamite. They literally just did one. Like where it'll be like kind of like a PLE almost branded, like pay-per-view branded episode, but it's on TV. I could see them doing some stuff like that now on Netflix.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see. I really hope people understand like how big of a deal Raw changing networks like this is, because it's a huge deal.
They're literally gonna be seen by like 1 billion more people. It's fucking insane.
That's what I'm really curious to see how many weekly viewers they're going to get now. And I'm interested, I don't know about you, which like obviously again we'll talk into this more next week.
This could make wrestling straight up mainstream again, man. Like you never really know. This is
so it's going to be awesome. So we'll get into that next week. And then obviously after that, we'll be on the road to WrestleMania. So be on the lookout for all that good stuff. Follow us on all of our social media so you know when we're going live and when we drop the audio versions. And we live tweet during shows. I'll be tweeting during Friday Night SmackDown this week. So you can follow us on X at The Burnt Hammer. And you can follow us on everything else at The Burning Hammer. And you can listen to us, just the audio version, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening or wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe so you never miss a new episode of the podcast. And you can go and follow us on Twitch as well at the Burning Hammer Podcast. We'll be live streaming on there as well as we are simultaneously right now. And maybe down the line, we'll live stream some stuff on Twitch, maybe watching some shows or watching some different videos for kickoff shows or who knows. So definitely go out, follow us, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. And with that being said, I'm Mark Izzo. He is Dylan O'Brien, and this has been another episode of the Burning Hammer Podcast. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.